My last YouTube video I did for Neverwinter was a couple hours ago. Um, I didn't have any commentary in there because my mic commentary for YouTube settings was turned off for God who knows what reasons. Oh, that's right. I had issues with my PlayStation. I had to restore the default settings, and now I've got commentary. So let's get into this shit real quick. And so I can fix this video. This is my last one. I went ahead and deleted my last one, but this one right here um, is going to be the same exact one, just a little different. Okay, this one here has gameplay. It's going to have some gameplay. It's also going to have the full build. It's going to have all the perks and why I use the perks. It's going to have why I don't have certain perks. And if people want to be haters, then let them go ahead and be haters. Just know that my build keeps me and my teammates alive. It has been used. It has been tested. It is not a squishy build. If you are squishy, it is because you are under geared. And, well, it's going to be a personal problem for you. Alright, so I'm going to take myself over here. And I'm going to go to my stronghold. I haven't played the game in like a week or two because it's been super fucking laggy and I get tired of the fucking lag. I can't fucking stand playing on lag. But I will be returning to Neverwinter very, very soon. Just to give you a heads up, my guild name has been changed. I do not run with the old guild that I used to have. This guild that I'm in now is KDSA. Killer Death Sausage Army. So if you are looking for a guild on the PlayStation 4, Killer Death Sausage Army is always welcome to recruit new people. We are always welcome to help new people. So let's go ahead and get into this build now. Okay, so I'm gonna go to character sheet. Okay, I'm gonna show you all my stats, and I'm gonna tell you what you need to focus on. Okay, these are my main stats right here that I'm working with. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down and I'm gonna go down to the defense things because I'm a defense fucking player. Okay, I'm not worried about my offense. I'm actually worried about my defense. Why the hell? Alright, so under defense, my damage resistance is 41.6%. My deflection chance is 20.1%. That's a pretty fucking high. I don't think there's any deflection chance of getting deflection chance up to 60%. 20% is actually pretty fucking good. I see a lot of zeros all the fucking time. My deflection severity is 50%. That's actually pretty damn good too. Health regeneration, we're not really too worried about these other ones though. Okay, stamina regeneration, so be it. It's just a healing skill. Anyways, life steal chance, so be it. Whatever. Bonus incoming healing. That's when people are healing me. That's actually another one that you can try to focus on. I wouldn't worry too much about it. You'll get most of your stuff from boons. Health regeneration is 5.5% as well. Action point gain, I'm not too worried about that because I do get a lot of action point gain. Other than that, I mean, the most things that you're really going to be focusing on this is power. Okay, power and one or the other, crit strike or armor penetration. I went with both because I was really working towards my armor penetration. Okay. Defense is a number one bonus, guaranteed. You gotta go after the defense. And then deflect. Deflect, the higher your deflect, the less damage you're going to take on yourself, which is great, especially when you're playing a tank. Okay, I've got 106,000 health, and I'm using, for mounts, I'm using the Lord's Armored Polar Bear, and I'm also using the 2000 defense equip power that you get from it. Now, you can always swap that out for power, but we're not really worried about that. Reason being is, we've got enough power. The more damage you do as a paladin, the easier it is for you to tank, but we're not worried about that. Now, let's get into the feats here. Okay, so I went 3 of 3 on toughness for the extra health. I went 2 of 3 on divine action to get the extra action point gain every time I activate divine call, which is my threatening skill, which will be your R1 button. Alright, I went 5 of 5 on light shield. It gives me 2.5% damage resistance. I went 3 of 3 on Exemplar's haste. Your encounter power recharge 246% faster. And I went Wrathful Strike, 3 of 3 on that. For the at-will powers, deal more damage. Because the only damage you're really going to be getting out of this character is at-will powers. Impassioned Please. Okay. You generate Divine Call energy 6% faster. I went with that. Now my last point was either put another one on Divine Action or take 0.5 maximum hit points for each constitution I have. So that's where I got 1 point into that for that extra little bit of health. That's more survival for me. Alright, so my next thing here is Unflinching Resolve. Okay, I took this over the other one because the other one is stamina regeneration while this is control resistance. So I get 10% control resistance increase on Unflinching Resolve. My second perk I took, okay, it was either make my allies move faster or I can use Steadfast. I use Steadfast because while you are not moving, you gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% damage resistance and deflect chance, which is great for being a tank. You definitely need that. Seeing as you're playing a tank, you're not really going to be moving around too much unless you're chasing down an ad that's chasing down one of your allies, and that's going to be slim to none. It should be slim to none. Alright, Martyr's Blood. I took Martyr's Blood over Sanctity. Sanctity is when you are healed, you gain a burst of defense, deflect, or regeneration. Okay, this is a random perk. This is something you don't know what you're going to get. I took the Martyr's Blood over Sanctify because I wanted something that I know I'm going to get. Something that I know that is going to benefit me. Sanctify, it gets a random perk and you're not going to know which one it is, and regeneration is not that great for a tank. Defense and deflect is, but regeneration, no. So I went with Martyr's Blood. When you take damage from a foe, you have a 10% chance to apply Martyr's Blood to them. Martyr's Blood causes them to deal 2, 4, 6, 8, 10% less damage for 8 seconds. Fantastic perk right there. Okay, so as I was leveling up, I went straight down this middle tree. Now my first 2 points was into these bottom 2 right here, and I'll get to those very shortly, and why I went with those first. But this is how this build is laid out: Bulwark and Light. Bulwark, the reason I went Bulwark is because it's more of a defense tree than it is damage, and that's what I wanted. I wanted defense, straight tank. Straight tank. If you're going to tank, you might as well go straight tank. You might as well not have both. Now, out of these 2 right here, I chose the bottom first. The bottom was more valuable to me than the top one. So I went with Vigilance. When your encounter powers come off cooldown, you gain a stack of Vigilant. When Vigilant reaches 5 stacks, you may consume them by activating your Divine Call. Consuming stack of Vigilance grants you a shield for 8 seconds that absorbs 25% of all incoming damage. Okay, you want to make sure you're taking all damage. You want to make sure that you can decrease that damage as much as possible. Now remember, this build is the same one as I did 2 hours ago. It's just I have commentary on it this time. At least I better, or I'm going to be pissed off. Anyways, my next perk was Avengers Presence. Okay, it was either Avengers Presence or Head Unbowed. Head Unbowed is as your hit points reduce, you gain up to 50% max more divine energy regeneration. Now, it's a good one. Okay, it was between Head Unbowed and Exemplar of the Light. And I'll explain why I went with Exemplar of the Light over Head Unbowed here in just a minute. Okay, and then once you max this one out, you'll be able to get to the Holy Barrier. Holy Barrier is As you take damage, you will slowly gain stacks of barrier. When you activate your Divine Call, all stacks of barrier are consumed to give you a shield equal to 0.5% your maximum HP per stack of barrier. Now, you have a chance to have 5 stacks of that, if I remember right. You will slowly gain stacks of barrier. I think it's 5. Oh, no. Yeah, I think it's about 5 stacks. And that's 2.5% of your maximum HP as a barrier. Now, 2.5% of 106,000 is like, I think it's like, it's an extra 1,000. It's only, the barrier's not that strong, but I grabbed that because I was going down the bulwark tree. Might as well have that. The barrier's awesome. After activating barrier, you cannot gain stacks of barrier again for 10 seconds. Okay, so your barrier is not going to be real strong. Now, if you had like 1,000,000 health, then so be it. But I don't think you can get that much health in this game. I think the max is about 150,000 health. Alright, so the difference between Exemplar of the Light and Head Unbowed. Okay, Exemplar of the Light's kind of similar to the Holy Barrier. It basically, your daily powers place a shield on you that absorbs 300, 600, 900, 1200, 1500% of your weapon damage before breaking. This shield expires when combat ends and does not stack. Alright, so that right there, it only activates when you activate it daily. But because of the way this build is, you're going to be gaining action points fairly fast, because the more shit you do, the faster you build action points. Okay, it's not as fast as say you want it to be, but paladins don't really build super fast AP in the first place. I think it takes about a minute, and I can have a fully charged, a minute or two, and I can have a fully charged daily. It was either that or the regeneration of Divine Call. Okay, Divine Call actually generates pretty fast as it is due to the feat point. Now, I could have made it go by so much faster and gain so much faster, but I'm not really worried about that. I mean, yes, I want all the enemies attacking me, but I also want to survive. So that's where I took Exemplar of the Light. Now, under the light tree, I went with Gift of Light. You heal for 2, 4, 6, 10% more. I chose this over Seraphim because Seraphim is when you take damage, you have a chance to gain Seraphim. Seraphim increases the strength of your heals by 15% max. I'm not a healer. I'm a paladin. I'm a tank. I'm not a healadin. I'm under the Oath of Protection, so I went with my heals are a little bit stronger. Those are emergency heals only. That's all that is emergency only, and it's long enough for a fucking cleric or a healadin to get their skills on cooldown so they can heal you. My last feat that I have is Warrior of Bastion. You gain 2, 4, 6, 8, 10% more defense from equipment. Now this should be your second perk you claim, because you want, the more defense you have, the more survivability you have. Okay, and that's basically the way this build's going to be laid out for feat points. Now that right there, okay, is going inside with my gear. Okay, I get 797 defense. I get compared to a 597 defense, or whatever the actual defense you get from this paladin build right here is. It gives me 10% more than that, so I'm not sure if the gear itself is actually the actual number, or if I get a 10% over top of the 797, but I'm not completely sure. But if I remember looking at like a level 4, I think it was only like 690 or something like that on defense. They might have buffed up the stats on the armors, I'm not completely sure. But under the power tree, okay, I have two different loadouts, and these two different loadouts, one is for team, one is for solo. Okay, so the first one I'm going to show you is for team. The second one I'm going to show you is for solo. I have played with this build for about a month, and it works out fan-fucking-tastic. It works out really good. This is a wham bam thank you man build. This is one that you walk in, you take barely any fucking damage, you deflect a shit ton of damage, and you send your enemies reeling up the ass and back out. Alright, so basically my first divine daily is team, and it's going to be for my team and for solo play. It's divine judgment. I maxed it out because it does more damage. I have done almost 100,000 damage with this skill right here alone. That's a great skill. It's the very first one you get when you hit in your tutorial area during the first boss. Okay, so I've got to put my points back where I needed them for my team build. This is on my solo build, so I'll just cover the solo build first. I went with Smite because it's the only skill that is classified to do enough damage. The paladin don't don't really attack multiple targets. So solo target skill, this is the strongest one that the paladin has, and it is Smite. It can do anywhere between 20 to 50,000 damage on criticals. Bane, I used Bane on the solo build because it decreases damage from enemies and enemies damage resistance, meaning you're going to do more damage to them. Okay, my last at will that I use, and this is the only one other than the simple skill. This one here, the reason I use this one over the other one, and I'll show you the other one here in just a minute, but this one right here, it attacks enemies, does damage, dazes enemies, and gives you your temporary HP, or what I like to call your armor bar, which is a gold bar of health. Okay, it's Templar's Wrath. I would max that out as fast as possible. The higher it is, the more damage you do, the more gold bar of HP you get. Well, I think it's equal to 300% of the damage dealt. So the more damage you deal off of this, the more gold bar of health you get, and it might take it a while to break, it might not. I would definitely recommend, if anything, Cleansing Touch over top of a Templar's Wrath, but I would replace Bane with Cleansing Touch, because Cleansing Touch also gives you HP. It's 300% HP of the healing done. Now you can heal almost everybody around you. It don't matter if you target them or not. You're going to heal somebody, if not everybody. Okay, so my actives, of course, you can see them as is. Okay, is Aura of Truth and Aura of Protection. I only use those in team battles. Solo battles, I use Aura of Courage and Aura of Vengeance. This is when I'm running around by myself. This is when I have nobody with me. Reason is, damage is shit. Okay, damage is shit when you're by yourself and you're running that. So I run Aura of Courage and Aura of Vengeance for the extra damage, just to fucking clear mobs a little bit faster. It's only maybe 15-20 seconds faster, but it's still faster. So this is all on the solo build here. Okay, Valorous Strike is good. It's not worth using whatsoever, solo or with team. Nor is Oath Strike. Oath Strike, under Oath of Protection, basically it forces targets to attack you, but it only forces one target to attack you. It don't force everybody to attack you, and it has a major con in it, which is a big time no. If you want to clear shit as fast as possible, you do not want this next part that I'm about to read off to you. You guys have probably already read it by now. It is players deal 75% less damage to other targets for 3 seconds. Now, the more that you attack with this, the longer it stays. And it is a big time no-no. O-Strike has no points into it for me because of that reason. My at-will for attacking is Shielding Strike. Reason that is because I can have up to 3 shields on me that last for 8 seconds every time I attack. And it only activates on the last strike of the combo. You have three attacks. I think it's 3 attacks on the combo before it activates the shield. And they go by pretty fast. Radiant Strike is my other at-will. Okay, Radiant Strike lets you lunge across the battlefield, activate Radiance, and get what you need done. It also adds a burning over time effect, not just the other bonus from it. But basically, it is your armor penetration and damage are increased by 5% for 15 seconds, does not stack. Okay, so it's once every 15 seconds you can activate this. You use it once, clear out a mob, should be about 15-20 seconds later by the time you cleared out the mob. If you haven't, fucking activate it again. So within 15 seconds, it'll go away and you can reapply it. Now, this last at-will is mostly for my team. It also revolves around anybody in an open world with you. Dailies, anything like that, you can use this. Divine Protector. Basically, it's a big ass bubble. It leashes off of you and onto everybody else. And everybody else that takes damage doesn't take any damage. You take 50% of their damage, and that's everybody accumulated. Now, because you got a fucking big ass gold bar of health that just added up to 300% off of the healing or damage dealt, so you could have a possible 600% damage dealt and healing combined. If you use both, you'll be just fine. Now off to the team section. Okay, to the team section, there's nothing that's really going to change much other than the fact that you're going to switch out Aura of Courage for Aura of Truth. Okay, and you're going to switch out Aura of Vengeance for Aura of Protection. Now, let me read these two here and tell you why. Okay, so Aura of Truth, foes within 30 yards of you, or 30 foot of you, I can't remember which one that one is, but it's either way, it's still practically the same fucking thing. Deal 5% less damage. Now, you rank that up, you max that out. That's the first thing I maxed out. And I maxed that out because it is a 12.5% damage debuff that the enemies can do. My second thing I maxed out was Aura of Protection. And the reason that one was because you and allies within 30 foot of you gain 5% increased damage resistance. So altogether you're getting basically... A lot of people is going to judge me for this because I add the numbers together. And a lot of people would say, no, it don't work like that. But in this form, it actually kind of does. Okay, so if you damage debuff an enemy, that's a damage resistance buff. Also, you got a damage resistance here. So that's another 12.5. That is 26% damage resistance altogether. Now, if you want to do it technical, that is 12.5 damage resistance and 12.5% damage reduction on enemies. So enemies do 12.5% damage reduction. You take 12.5 damage resistance, and your allies on top of that one. That right there is a perfect one. Okay, my at-wills, Templar's Wrath stays. I just choose, I choose these ones right here. Okay, Divine Touch and Binding Oath. Playing as a team, and if you're in a dungeon, this is where you want. This is what you want for you. This is what you want to make you the tank. Because if you got another guy in there and he's using Enforced Threat and he just happens to be a Guardian Fighter and he's trying to be DPS, which Guardian Fighter is great for DPS, but that's not the way they're made to be played. Binding Oath is the one skill. It makes it to where enemies attack you. Bunch of other shit. Nearby targets are forced to attack you for 2 seconds. During this time, you absorb all damage dealt to you. When this effect expires, you take 50% of that damage and deal 20% of it to all foes in a 30 foot area. It's either 30 foot or 30 yards. I'm not completely sure. I think it's 30 foot because it's not a real big thing. Basically, your character turns white, sucks in this big gasp of air, lets you take all that damage. You take 50% of that, and then 20% of that 50% that you just took, you explode the shield outwards at your enemies. And that'd probably be a good idea to max that out on the next thing that we max out, because we've already got 1, 2, 3 skills maxed out. Binding Oath should be the 4th. Now, the reason I chose Divine Touch over Bane or Cleansing Touch or Absolution or hell, even Circle of Power is because, one, Circle of Power has a 51.6 second cooldown. Okay, I don't have that skill that instantly recharges everything that's on cooldown. Okay, so 51 seconds, that is a forever long cooldown. That is only a 25% damage resistance on top of that, and improves all damage you deal by 30% in the last 20 seconds. Okay, you still got another 30 seconds after it goes away. 31, practically 32 seconds for that to cool down. So that's shit, in my opinion. That skill right there is total fucking garbage. It takes too long to fucking cool down. So you need something with fast cooldowns. I don't care if you're a DPS, if you're a tank, if you're a healer. Fast cooldowns. Absolution, it was good. It's great. It adds this little blue barrier around you. I think that's the one. Yeah. This is the blue barrier skill. It does add over top. And Cleansing Touch is the healing skill, just like before on solo. This one right here is a little on the other side of, should I use it or shouldn't I use it in a team battle. The only bonus you get from this is you can have temporary HP even when you are not in combat. That's about the only bonus. You can walk into combat with a gold bar of health, but I chose Divine Touch, and here's why. Deal heavy radiant damage to all foes in the area around the target. So you can attack every last one of your targets. It also reduces incoming damage by 8 seconds. It's one of them skills that does damage, reduces damage, and, well, keep yourself alive. That one right there would probably be your best bet, in my opinion. Now, other people's probably going to be like, okay, well, why don't you use Banish, or why don't you use this? I'm going to tell you why I don't use Banish. Banish is a white beam around all enemies that it leeches onto. It also makes them immune to any amount of damage. So I didn't even bother putting any kind of points into Banish. I didn't bother putting anything to Oath Strike because of the damage resistance to my allies, and my DPSs need to be doing all the damage possible. Relentless Anger, or Avenger, I didn't put anything into, and here's why. My last video that was like, 2 months ago for my paladin build, a lot of people are like, don't use that skill, don't use that skill. Reason is it sends everything flying. DPSs don't want to chase them down. The DPSs ain't gotta chase them down, they come back to you, but here's why DPSs might get pissed off if you use this skill. Okay, it sends everything outwards. Okay, you hit one enemy, they might sit still, they might not. That's like a fucking 50-50 right there. So you have a chance of having one enemy stand still at a 50-50 chance. Everything else around it that it hits gets flung out into a big ass circle around you. Whether it's behind you, in front of you, to your right, to your left, diagonally, don't matter. Okay? It all gets flung out. Now, what if you have a control wizard with you? Okay, that control wizard is going to be fucking squishy, just to let you know. I have a control wizard at level 70, and I don't fucking play it, not one fucking bit. But that control wizard places icy terrain. Icy terrain freezes enemies in the area it stands in for 5-6 seconds or something like that. They control the battlefield. They want to hit their lightning skills or their fire skills or whatever fucking skills they're fucking using. That skill right there is going to piss somebody off. Let's say you got a rogue, okay? The rogue was attacking an enemy that you wasn't attacking. Everything just got flung outwards. That rogue's like, why am I chasing down the enemies? And that rogue has a possible chance of dying now. Yes, it does prone the enemies, but don't use it. I highly recommend don't use it. The only time I would use it if somebody pissed you off and you want to fucking piss them off. That's about the only fucking time. But as far as that, I mean, I just stuck all my skills, you know, into the proper places. I didn't pick up those 3 skills. I didn't even pick up Vow of Amenity. I don't even know what Vow of Amenity does because I never read it, never used it. It was useless. No point in fucking having a skill that you don't use, right? So I didn't get Vow of Amenity. But basically that's the build. Okay, now let me go over runes. Runes and armor, okay? My stats, here's the reason when at the beginning of the build, when I went to my stats and I said power and one or the other of crit strike and armor penetration while you're focusing on defense and deflect. Everything else will come. Recovery don't matter. Regeneration don't matter. I mean, recovery's a key factor. Don't get me wrong. It increases how fast your skills cool down. Now, regeneration, on the other hand, does not matter because regeneration is how fast you regenerate health. You not being a healer and you being a tank on this build, highly recommend not going after regeneration. I've got regeneration that just came from who knows what boons, some of my armor maybe, but if it came from my armor, it's only because the armor had so much deflect in it. Like, all of my armor are all deflect pieces. They are all deflect, they are all defense, and whatever other bonuses came from them is what I got. Okay? So, as far as what I would say for rune sockets, okay, rune sockets. Defense, I would totally go all silvery just for the deflection. Okay, my deflection is at 251, and I see a lot of zeros all the fucking time. Alright. Utility, I would go with dark enchantments or whatever the hell you want to use. That one there is personal preference. I use dark enchantments because of the movement speed, even though I don't see a difference in the movement speed, really, I don't. But, like, I mean, paladins are always going to be fucking slow. Any character is really fucking slow, to be perfectly honest, without those movement speed bonuses. So defense sockets, go silvery. Utility, don't matter. I prefer dark enchantments. And as far as my offense slots, I would highly recommend going dark enchantments for the armor penetration. Focus on armor penetration or crit chance, so it's either going to be Azure or it's going to be dark enchantments. I went with dark enchantments for the armor penetration. I probably should switch them out for Azure, but I don't care about crit strike as a paladin or a tank at all. I want armor penetration. Armor penetration lets me bleed through guys that have like 10 different sections of health or whatnot. So that being said, like, this is that right there was Binding Oath, and after about 15, 20, 30 seconds or so, it will outburst, and it shoots out in a circular form and does the damage. Templar's Wrath, boom. It does take a second to get it out, but, like, I mean, for some fucking reason, I've got, God who knows why I've got a gold bar of health, I don't know. Shouldn't have a gold bar of health, but yeah. Alright, so I'm just going to show you why I went with deflection chance real quick. I'm going to take this over here. I'm going to go in here and stun these guys real quick, get my gold bar health. Get these guys. Alright, so I'm taking damage right now. I'm taking damage. Then all of a sudden, it should be a bunch of zeros. If these guys even... If my fucking deflection chance decides it wants to activate. Come on, over here. Everybody over here. Well, these guys ain't wanting to show me how my fucking deflector working. Oh, there was some zeros. Over here, guys. Now, all those zeros right there that are stacking up, that's all my deflection chance. That's all my deflection I have in. I'm deflecting everything that they're fucking throwing at me. I'm not going to deflect everything. There's no way to deflect every single thing. And I don't think this game provides enough deflection chance to get it up to 60%. I think the highest you might get is about 40 on deflection chance. And that's if you're super lucky. Like, I've got all my armor into deflection chance. I would have to say the only possible way to get deflection chance is to get the Drowcraft, and I highly recommend not buying it out of the trade house, and I'm going to show you why. Farm that shit. Farm that shit. You need demonic ichor to get it. Okay, so like my character sheet, first two pieces you want to get are the shirt and trousers in Drowcraft. After that, get your armor. Also, you want 3 pieces of the Dusk Ward set for the 3-piece bonus. You don't need all 4. Now, it shows parts of set, 1 of 4. You don't need all that. You only need 3 pieces for the set bonus. 3 set, 1 set, 2 set. Alright? That's all you need. It's 3 pieces. Now, let me show you something inside here. I don't really feel like searching it up, but equipment, all equipment, let's just say, like, you know, you get the head, and I don't know if the head's tradable, but let's just type in Drowcraft. And equality, we want epic. Choose class and level. Any class, we're going to just go with a Oathbound Paladin. Minimum level 70, so minimum level ain't gonna matter because once you hit Drowcraft, there's no possible way, and epic don't really drop anything less than 70. Minimum level is like a 135, I think it's 130 or 135, so there's nothing there. Nothing in that. Alright, so let's take off this. Okay, we got epic, we got Oathbound Paladin. We got 10 seconds for the cooldown. Alright, so I mean, you can totally choose the stat you want, but why is it on the belt? That is not. Oh, okay. Guardian plate helm. I'm not completely sure what the hell that is. Ruined Regents. Okay, that's probably something somebody picked up somewhere. It don't even got good stats. It's like crap. Let's find Drowcraft. There's Hammerstone. Bind on equip. Change if equipped. Those stats are garbage. Okay, so Drowcraft in that section, I don't know. Garbage. Let's try this one. Guardian's plate. To be perfectly honest, I don't know what fucking piece that is. I think it might have came from the look of it, it might have came from Elemental Evil, and they just used their stupid ass, whatchamacallit, ice picker person to boost it up. Now this one right here would be alright. Now let's say you did have all the materials you needed and you was going to go get Drowcraft. easiest place to go get your Drowcraft from, okay, you're gonna be getting Demonic Ichor. And under your daily tab, okay, if you go under your quests and campaigns, I want to be Underdark. Underdark, okay, if you look over here, today's feature, event rewards, Underdark, and then you got the Maze Engine, Tyranny of Dragons, blah blah blah. So basically, your Underdark will tell you exactly where you can get your Demonic Ichor. Prophecy of Madness will give you a plus 40 Demonic Ichor for the first completion today. Use the Q window to join, blah blah blah. Demonic Heroics, all these other fucking places that give you demonics. Demigorgon Master, give you Demonic Ichor. And I think, don't get me wrong, but I think, what's that place called again? Dread Ring. I think the Dread Ring gives you Demonic Ichor for almost all the quests there per day. You gotta be level 70 to get there, but that being said, alright, so if you have 600 Demonic Ichor and you want to go get your thing, you go to Mantle Dareth. Now let's go over here to Mantle Dareth and I'll show you where to go. There's other videos on showing you how to get this shit too out there that I probably taken all their credit or who knows what. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to what's going on YouTube half the fucking time anyways. But basically, you come here. Alright, you can get the Twisted Fate weapons here and the Drowcraft armor here. If you're paladin or something with an offhand, you get your offhand for Twisted Fate as well. This person right here, the weapon dealer, will give you your twisted weapons, Twisted Fate, offhand and main hand. Why the hell did I do that? Okay. Anyways, the armor dealer is where you get your Drowcraft. I highly recommend starting with your armor. Get your trousers and your pants first, or shirt and trousers first, and then get your armors. If you want, you can get accessories to go with it. Accessories aren't that big of a thing. And then focus on your weapons later. I would not start with the weapons because you can get weapons to suffice until then. But basically, this is where you get your Drowcraft. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please hit that subscribe button if it helped you in any way. You enjoyed it, you thought it was useful. Recommend to your friends, share it to Facebook. Either way you go. Please and thank you. Do not leave any hate mail. If you do, please stay off of my channel. And I will see y'all next time. Until then, don't forget to have fun. See you guys later. God damn it. Come on. Fucking PlayStation lag.